The human mind is not a unitary entity. It consists of several autonomous systems which need to be integrated together. For example, your perceptual system can help you detect when a mosquito has landed on your skin, and then you need to engage your motor system in order to squash that pestilent, blood-sucking vector of the deadliest diseases known to mankind. So the relative autonomy of these systems needs to be coupled with a degree of coordination so that despite not being a unitary entity, you effectively function as one. But what if different parts of your mind have conflicting motivations and are poised to pull away from each other? It's hard to see how this is true for your perceptual system, but it's rather obvious when it comes to your archetypal systems. Archetypal systems are synonymous with instincts, or more specifically, they are the psychological concomitants of the behavioral instincts. And humans possess many of them, and their nature can be rather complex. Archetypes are autonomous, genetically pre-equipped psychological systems which anticipate and prepare us for the typical patterns that we experience in life. Because they function automatically, they can operate without the input of our conscious minds. In fact, they can completely override our conscious system and seize full control over our actions. Think about what happens if you're walking through a meadow and suddenly notice a snake slithering through the grass near your feet. You may, without even fully processing the situation, start to flee in the other direction. Or whenever somebody is seduced into cheating on their significant other. Sometimes no amount of conscious reasoning or moral obligation can dissuade the ancient sexual instinct from seizing on this opportunity to produce further progeny, even if logically it won't amount to that. As Jung writes, instinctive action appears to be a more or less abrupt psychic occurrence, a sort of interruption of the continuity of consciousness. The autonomy of the archetypes poses a big challenge for human psychology, because these archetypes exist inherently within the psyche and are always trying to express themselves within the personality. The problem is that it may not always be feasible for our inherent psychological tendencies to find expression within our lives, especially when factors like culture, social expectations, and moral responsibilities need to be accounted for. Furthermore, it's often the case that different archetypes actually conflict with each other. This is the paradoxical nature of the human psyche. We often possess counterposed tendencies because we need to be able to deal with all of the situations which life throws at us. We can't just have a singular nature, because a different instinct might be called upon depending on the circumstances we face in life. There are many examples of this. We may have this drive to be successful and ambitious and rise the ranks of our society just as social animals compete for rank, but this can easily conflict with our tendency to be lazy and sleep and relax, which we naturally do to save energy, and also as a consequence of our tendency to seek pleasure and generally avoid discomfort. We may also have this strong urge to become our own master and become self-reliant and independent. But when we encounter a strong role model who exceeds us in many ways, another contrary tendency may compel us to view this person as a leader and become their follower. We may also want to be more emotionally vulnerable and feel free to express a softer side, but then also have this desire to be strong and stoic and capable of weathering emotional turmoil. Our feminine side might conflict with our masculine side, our drive to be independent may conflict with our drive to be socially accepted, and our desire to satisfy our pleasures may conflict with the moral responsibilities we've obliged ourselves to uphold. I think what ends up happening in many individuals is that some of these tendencies become sacrificed in favor of others, so that some archetypes enjoy a greater degree of expression within the personality compared to others. And so a person may be so individualistic that they absolutely can't stand when somebody tells them what to do, making it impossible for them to take guidance from someone who can serve as an effective role model. Others may become so entranced by a charismatic figure that they make no room for their own individuality and independence, and effectively become an obedient servant. Another may be so domineering and masculine that he effectively discards his feminine anima, while another may never adequately manifest their own masculinity in a way which allows them to build resilience to difficult emotions. The problem with this is that you can't just suppress your archetypal tendencies. Sooner or later, they're gonna try to get out, so to speak. And you can think of these suppressed archetypes almost like they're caged animals that will soon start to feel bitter and resentful that they're not being given their freedom. There then becomes a high probability that the archetypes will seize their chance when you least expect it and be unleashed in a way that's chaotic and destructive. Navigating this state of affairs is no easy task, but generally the people who are psychologically biologically the healthiest are those who can balance their archetypal energies and allow each part of their nature to find a form of expression. This means that every part of your internal system is happy and functioning within a harmonious totality, able to exist without being locked away. It is a form of internal compromise between the different competing aspects of yourself, thereby ending your internal civil war. Doing this is easier said than done, and really depends on your specific situation as an individual. But for example, it might look like giving expression to your warrior archetype by engaging in some kind of competitive sport or even taking a martial arts class. Your feminine anima might find a place with your romantic partner, as it often does, if you can make your relationship one that's emotionally safe and allows for vulnerability, something which I'm learning a lot of people don't have in their relationships, very sadly. Your father archetype might be best expressed when you can identify and take guidance from a suitable role model who can help mold you into a more developed human being. And your self archetype might be expressed when, well, you can be yourself, without being beholden to anything higher apart from the principles which you impose upon yourself. Even your trickster archetype can be manifested whenever harnessing its chaotic potential may be beneficial for you. Finding a way to navigate these often counterposed energies is not always easy, but doing so can have a substantial impact on boosting your mental health. And that's why you should consider doing psychotherapy with me. Was this entire video just an ad for my psychotherapy services? Maybe, but hopefully the concept itself proves helpful. Many challenges seem to stem from an imbalance of archetypal energies and certain incompatibilities which make their expression dysfunctional. Together, we can reach an understanding of how your particular archetypes manifest, and then devise strategies for letting these natural tendencies find expression within your life. We can try to discover which parts of your psyche are being overrepresented and which parts are being underrepresented, as well as the contextual factors of your life which explain your particular psychological predispositions. Your particular situation is likely unique to you, and so we will work together to help analyze your psyche and then chart the best course forward. A lot of psychotherapists aren't given training in depth psychology, i.e., they are trained to focus more on the conscious mind and not really pay much attention to the unconscious mind. But I view an understanding of one's own unconscious mind as crucial for psychological integration and mental harmony. So if that sounds like it can be helpful for you, feel free to shoot me an email, it'll be down in the description, or even feel free to book a free phone consult using my booking page. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Have a good day, and may good luck always come your way.